Hello, and welcome to our video audio podcast, Couched in Color. I'm your mental health expert, teen and young adult crusader, and psychological scientist, Dr. Alfie. This podcast reflects my life's work, helping our young people and young at heart identify mental health challenges, disrupt negative patterns, and discover the best versions of themselves. I'm so happy that you've joined us. For over 20 years, I want you to know that I've had my finger on the pulse of BIPOC teen mental health. I recognize that historically and currently, with these dual pandemics of COVID and racial injustice raging, our young people are suffering, sometimes they're struggling, and always the care that they need is quite scarce. So each week, I'm joined by young people, mental health experts, celebrities, and influencers to help us uncover the secrets to healing the hearts and minds of our BIPOC teens, their families, and their communities. Here at Couched in Color, we believe deeply in spreading love and light, bolstered by culturally relevant science. So let's dive in. So it is my honor to have, I won't say the MacGregor girls, but I kind of can't resist saying the MacGregor girls.
That's okay.
Wonderful. So you all are seeing the same thing that I'm seeing, which is three of the most beautiful young women I've probably ever seen. Just as brilliant, just as talented as they are beautiful. So honestly, really just beautiful on the inside and out. Our whole relationship until we get out of this COVID stuff has been on social media. So, but I do feel like, I don't know, like I have another set of girls. Like I have one girl, I got three more. These are my northern girls from Canada. I'm always telling everybody I'm stealing their kids. They have parents. They don't need me. I know you don't, but I just adore you ladies. And you are just amazing and kind and creative and talented and wonderful. And it's just really my honor to have you on the Couched in Color podcast. And so thank you so much. And so we'll just start with me like slathering on all the accolades. We'll start there, but that's all right. You never have too many. You can never have too many accolades. You can never have too much praise, especially for the young people. So it's my honor to welcome you three young ladies. And if you wouldn't mind, please introduce yourself for our audience so everybody can learn more about who you beautiful, brilliant, talented girls are.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Dr. Alfie. And the feeling is absolutely mutual.
We talk about you in this house, I think, probably every
It's
day.
every day.
Did you see what Dr. Alfie
Did
told
you see
us?
that?
You have to take a look at this. We love you so much.
I love you too.
You're a Southern mom. So the three of us, we are writing partners and we're actresses. I started off on a TV show called Backstage. And it was on Netflix and Disney Channel. We started as dancers and got into, Next Step, and then Ava and Elle were on The Strain.
Yeah, this is Ava and I'm Elle.
Yeah, they're twins.
And Madison, the older sister. Ava and I are twins.
Yes.
Just to get everyone.
Yes.
We're not
So we don't think we're seeing double. Like, yes, there are two people there and they are twins. It's two separate human beings. Yes.
Exactly.
We put Maddie in the middle for a reason.
Thank you from all of us. Thank you.
And now we are writers together. We wrote a book series together. It's a young adult novel. And now we're writing a show together based off that.
Yeah, so we adapted it into a screenplay, and we're also adapting over this quarantine a bunch of other things into screenplays as well. So it's been a very exciting time for us to just be expanding ourselves in writing and creativity. And I mean, Dr. Alfie, again, you've been an incredible mentor just on the mental health front, and then also just in support in general. It's been amazing. So I just want to thank you for that, because it means the world to us as young people, working and trying to get, our start here. So yeah, it's been incredibly helpful.
Well, it's been my pleasure. It's been truly my pleasure. So I think, so let me just say I received that and I always tell people, like, you have to, when people share those kind of nice words with you, we have to take them in, because so often we're in positions where we don't necessarily get to hear those kind of words all the time,? And so I really do appreciate it. I will carry it with me. And you girls, I just adore you and love you girls. And it really means a lot to me to watch you blossom as young women. And to watch you pursue the things that are important to you, because I don't know, there's just so many young people out here, I think, who feel disenfranchised and disempowered, and, they don't necessarily have the support. So I'm wondering if one thing we could start with is just telling me a little bit about, we can get to all of it. I think we can cover all of it. But one thing I'm really curious about is you talked about screenplays and the work that you're doing, writing. I'm just curious about, what does it take? What do you have to have as a young person to, I don't know, push forward? You have an idea and then you got to turn it into something. What do you think it takes for young people to go from just that gem of an idea to like all this creativity in the way that you all have done it, turning it into a real thing?
Yeah, I honestly think a lot of it has to do with passion. You have to love what you're doing and you have to believe in it. You have to find that belief. Yeah, because it really keeps you going, and also have some grit. Like, we haven't always had positive responses from people, and you never will always have positive responses. And you kind of have to take them with a grain of salt. You have to have belief in yourself and each other, and just keep going.
Yeah, something that I find is just doing it. Like, especially with this kind of thing. Like, Abe and I just graduated high school in 2020. Yeah. 2020 and we chose not to go to university, which is not the normal path.
Right.
So it's a little scary because, like, you know, I'm starting my life basically right now. But Corona has actually been great in that sense because we've had so much time to work together. Yeah. And all we've done really is just do it. So, like, we didn't know back in, I think, May or April, we were doing books, and then we decided to writing books, and then we decided to pivot and do what we really, really, really wanted to do, which was write screenplays and make movies and TV shows together. So what we did was we just read books and used the internet to teach ourselves. That was all we did.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that is accessible to everyone. So
like,
right. That's right.
Yeah, like,
totally
we watched interviews of people who were doing what we wanted to do and like how they got there. And a lot of people actually, we found out, didn't go to school, like, are the most successful. A lot of, like, directors, writers, the ones that we look up to.
We look up to a lot of, like, writer, actor, directors who are women. And so, yeah, it was amazing to be able to, you know, you don't have to pay a cent, and we got such a great education just by being online. So I think, especially in today's day and age, like, it's in you know, when you're stuck inside or whatever, it's just been so helpful. It's great. And I think I think also what it takes too is an amazing support network.
Yes.
Especially our parents. Like, I know you're an awesome mom to some awesome kids, and our parents have been so incredibly supportive to us, and they've really been able to guide us without taking over. And I know there's just such a fine line there because parents care so much. And so I think just having a really strong support network around yourself, and we have a lot of gratitude there. And I think that also weaves into the mental health piece too, which is, and what I've noticed personally is because I've struggled with depression and anxiety and disordered eating, and I also have cystic fibrosis. So there's a lot that has been on my plate, especially in the past couple of years, because I went through a health crisis last summer and everything. So I think that what I learned as far as what it takes to be able to do what you love and pursue these passions is also health. And how, if you don't have health, mental or physical, it makes it a little bit more difficult to go after what you want. So I learned how to put just as much importance on my creative work as I do on my mental health. And that's not always easy, but it is a great lesson for sure.
That's so important to talk about this idea, obviously, of mental health, especially with you all being young women, because, you know, your parents and I are the same generation. And in our generation, it absolutely was not something, do you know what I mean? Like, it was sort of, right, mental health and crazy. Like, that was literally kind of that's all you had. And there was no discussion about things like postpartum depression. You know, I know Hayden Panettiere a few years ago was really open, right? And she's like a big superstar. And so people were like, oh, this is the thing, right? And so, and that's really what got the conversation, I think, going on a much larger scale. And then now you have people like, particularly for communities of color, you have people like Taraji Henson, who's very open about her own, or like Charlemagne the God, or they're all these people who are much more willing and open, or Kid Cudi, who like talked about, I had to go be hospitalized. And so when young people see people like you, when they hear you talk about your own experiences, I think it is super helpful for them to feel less alone. And so I'm wondering, you correct me if I'm wrong, Madison, but I remember from your YouTube channel, you being pretty open about some of your own experiences. And I guess I'm wondering a little bit about, educate us old people, educate us parents. What do you think it is? And your sisters too. What do you all think it is that allows you to feel, I don't know, I'm making an assumption. So first of all, tell us, do you feel like you're comfortable sharing so much, or do you feel like you're compelled to do it because, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just wondering. And then once you answer that, maybe talk a little bit about how is that for each of you to be so open about sharing your experiences publicly?
Yeah, thank you. Well, thanks for paying attention to my YouTube channel. Appreciate that. So yeah, I think it was something that, because I started going through mental health issues when I was, I was bullied for like 5 years in elementary school. But that, I had dance as an outlet. So like I could really positively channel my energy. And so when I turned 16 years old, I stopped training competitively.
Okay.
And that is when my source of coping was gone. Like it was ripped from under me.
Yeah.
And I just, all of those pent up emotions from having a health condition to being bullied to all of these things, I had no coping mechanism anymore. So it almost like buried me. Mm-hmm. And for so many years, from the ages of 16 to 18, I could not put to words what I was going through. Mm-hmm. I had no idea. Like I remember we went on a family vacation. It was with my grandparents, my mom, Ava and Al, dad. And I remember sitting at a dinner table and everyone was just so happy and smiling. And I remember I felt almost like lonely amongst everyone.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like there was a wall between me and the present moment. And I felt so trapped and stuck in my health. And I remember just feeling so out of my body and not knowing what it was. And I remember I was crying and I didn't know why. And so I struggled for so many years to be able to even put to words like what was going on. And really, I had the symptoms of depression and anxiety and disordered eating, but really what was going on for me was that I had complex PTSD from being, because I was physically bullied, emotionally bullied. Like there was a lot happening for me at such a young age. And then as well as, growing up with a health condition your whole life, there is trauma related to that too.
Yes, yes.
So I think what compelled me to want to share my experience when I finally had the words when I finally had words to put to my experience, I felt like almost like, like a racehorse getting out of the gate. Like I just was so excited because I could finally share with other people what was going on with me. And hopefully, because during that time when I didn't have words to put to my experience, I watched a lot of other people who were experiencing depression and anxiety, including yourself, who were able to put words to the experiences that I didn't have. And so my goal was to be able to put those words to other people's experiences. Maybe by watching my video, maybe they can say, oh my God, yes, I'm going through depression. I know what it is. At the very least, they can identify it. And then that's the next step to being able to get help. So yeah, I just felt really excited and compelled, but it was such a struggle for me for 2 years, and it was very frustrating. So I really hope that by sharing and putting words to my experience, I can help other people just get a head start almost on their mental health journey.
And from Ava and I's point of view, Ava and I have never specifically struggled with mental health issues ourselves, but something that we had to learn was being the support system, because she would, in the beginning days, like when we first kind of were starting to figure it out, and like, she would talk to us and we don't think the same. So it would be very, like, I'd try to tell her a piece of advice and be like, oh yeah, we'll just do this, but that doesn't compute with her. And I always felt like a lot of times I was making it worse when help her make it better. So it's like, and then she started going to EMDR therapy and all that stuff. And like, just the shift, like, cause we kind of lost our sister for a couple years. I was very young at the time,
and that makes me so sad to hear. Like I feel teary-eyed hearing that, because like I value being a big sister and being able to show up for
We've
them.
always been very close.
Very,
very, like we're never apart, and we don't really want to be. So,
I love it.
She had those couple years, but I was so young that I had little idea what was going on. I think we were 12,
15. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We were very young.
Very young.
Okay. Yeah.
At the time, like I didn't realize that she was gone until she started to come back, which is like the last couple years. And yeah, it's just so
and just learning like communication. Like I remember, like 2 years ago, maybe a year or two ago, I said something to her, and it was about her eating. I had no idea that she even had an eating disorder.
Yes.
I said something. I can't remember what it was. And she was really upset, and I had no idea why, but she calmed down.
Okay.
An hour later, came back to me, and she said, Ava, I didn't like that you said this. It made me feel this. And I said, you know what? I understand now. And that kind of communication between us has even got us even closer, because I know how to communicate with her better now. And we're not perfect yet. But we know how to communicate so we don't trigger anything, or and I feel like that's so important as a support person.
Yes.
You don't want to make them worse. And
Yes.
that's very important to me, and I know tons of people probably have to be the support, and it's important for you as well.
Yeah, you guys have been doing a very good job. Thanks.
Oh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet. One of the things that you just mentioned that I think is really important to come back to and just to highlight for people is when you are support, being open to being corrected and being open to learning from the person you're trying to support. So what I love about what you did, Madison, was you went away and then you came back and shared. Right. And I guess I'm just wondering, how did you all learn to do that? Was there someone who told you? How did you know to do that?
I read a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I read a lot of psychology articles and things. So
we call her kind of a professor sometimes because
she speaks
on like
Professor Madison.
Yeah, I learned from professors. And
so
so I think I read it somewhere about how important it is to just, it's okay to just take time before you talk. It's not good to do it in an emotional state. So and it's interesting too, because that kind of set the stage for our relationship going forward. And we always kind of do that. Like we just make sure that we give each other, we really respect boundaries actually.
And it's also like when she struggles with mental health, it has nothing to do with me.
Yes, they don't take it personally.
Like you can't take it personally. Like if you make a comment about whatever it is, and you don't realize that it could trigger something. So I've never felt. I think it's important just to know that it has nothing to do with you as a support person. It's about them.
That's right.
Yeah, so you just have to almost take yourself out of the equation and just don't take it personally.
Oh, I love that advice. So everybody out there, just listen to what the ladies are saying. Don't take it personally, right? If you have a loved one and they're dealing with something difficult and they snap at you, they didn't mean to snap at you, right? It's like just in the moment, it's maybe that they're going through something. And I think for anyone who's ever carried or been working on or trying to work through a mental health condition or an illness, that the people around you, more often than not, maybe they don't always get it right, but more often than not, they have the right intention. And so it's just trying to be understanding. I feel like it's a two-way street. And I think so often what I hear young people say is, I feel like nobody around me understands me. And, that's hard for me to hear. And then I always go into like caretaking mama, but no, there are people who understand. But sometimes it does feel like people don't understand you. And sometimes it's because they don't. Yeah. If you're the one, like you just said, both of you, like your sisters just said, I didn't know exactly what she was going through. You didn't know that, there's certain things you shouldn't say about the way someone's eating, and you don't necessarily know what depression feels like because that's not your experience. And what I love about what you're modeling for us is that it is possible to love somebody, make a mistake, and then work on fixing whatever the mistake is and learn and move forward. Right. That is just like, I think it's beautiful. So I guess what I'm also curious about, since we're on the subject, is the work that you do around mental health, like sharing it with the public. Can you tell us a little bit about what that work is? That's how we all met.
Yes.
Was that that's like 2 years ago. Can you believe it's been that long?
No.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, I was in grade 11. Yes.
Yes.
Years ago.
Yes. Yes.
I believe that.
Wow.
Yeah. Time has.
Yeah. No, with sharing it, it's been a learning experience as much as anything. I think that has also helped with our relationship.
Yeah. Well, so let's tell them.
Yeah. Tell us about it. Yes.
Yeah. So TEAM is short for Teaching Everyone About Mental Health.
I never knew that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
didn't know that.
Yeah. It was founded by Mackenzie Drazen, and Mackenzie Drazen's sister Shelby died from depression. And when that happened, Mackenzie realized that she had this huge learning curve of how to support those struggling with depression and mental illness. And so she took this huge deep dive. She studied at Duke University and like majored in learning how to help others with mental health. And then she founded a nonprofit organization, TEAM. And TEAM has two main focuses. The first is support for the support, teaching the support network how to support those in many different communities too, right? For the BIPOC community, for LGBTQ.
Yes.
Those look different.
And
yes.
I mean, especially us as white girls, it's been, you know, heterosexual white girls. It's been amazing to be a part of this organization because we're creating the graphics and the content. And so we're learning as we're creating that. And so it's been amazing for us because we don't know those experiences.
Exactly. And we try to stay up with what's happening in the world. So like we have calls every Sunday and we're like, okay, so what should this week's theme be about? And we decide based on what's going on in the world. I think for Pride Month, we did, you know, LGBTQ plus and how they deal with the mental health. And then back in, I think it was May when the Black Lives Matter was coming out, we did lots of graphics. I think actually we pulled a lot of info from you. A lot of info from you.
So you've been an incredible source of education for us. To be able to share on TEAM, like it's been amazing. So
we have stories, so people will come to us with their mental health stories and we share them, and that's also from diverse backgrounds. And and I have like girls from school that have posted stuff and they reach out and they're like, I would like to share a story too. And it's just we try to, and it's also ending the stigma and talking about it. And it's like
it's been really great because it's also targeted our generation. I mean, it obviously is useful to everyone, but there's a lot going on right now, and especially for youth today. And mental health support also feels different for everyone. So I also feel really great that we are targeting the different communities because it's just so different for everyone.
And the bottom line, something that you do so great, Dr. Alfie, is making sure people feel seen, heard, and understood. Especially in the mental health area, it's so delicate. So we also too, you know, with the podcast that I had you on and then had you on, that's just where we're trying to, that's a section of TEAM, and we just try to talk about mental health to break the stigma. And then just in addition to that, we have also just like graphics and support for just very different ranges of mental illness, from schizophrenia to bipolar, anxiety to depression.
Or even we just did staying mentally healthy during the holidays.
Or during COVID.
You never know. You know, and
so that's a bit about TEAM.
I love that. Well, will you tell people a little bit about the website, or there's resources, right? Don't you tell us a little bit about the resources you have on your site?
Thank you. So our resource, we have two websites. The first is www.myteam.org, and that's a resource mainly for the support. There's an education page, learn for how to support all different kinds of mental illness. And then we have a COVID resource website. We're on Instagram at myteam.social, and if you click the link in our bio, you can find all of these.
You can find.
And that's COVID support. We also have a quarantine planner to help students, especially who are, you know, who have to do the 12-day quarantine, 14-day quarantine. And we also have links to, what else do we have links? It's all going to be there. It's all in the link in bio.
So our Instagram as well, we like to call it a little pocket guide for mental health. So on there we have little like 3 post things where there's like we do a little series of tips and tricks and stuff.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So everybody go to their Instagram page, go to the websites, multiple. You've been given those. So you got to go check all that out. I think what's really great is that I'm assuming you all manage the socials yourself.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so I have a message for you from my team. Well, no pun intended, from my Acoma project team. They love your socials. We literally were just talking about you all as a model. What was that? We have a weekly staff meeting. And DeTwan is he's newer to the team. He's our operations. Yes, exactly. He loves your socials. He was like, oh my God, they're like so timely. And like as you described, like you get together on Sundays and plan for the week, like he picked up on that. He was like, every week there's a theme and like the color schemes. So whatever you're doing, it's awesome. When we start copying, y'all don't get mad. We're gonna like copy a little bit because we're
mutual copy. All good. It's all good. Yeah. I'm glad you picked up on that. We talked about the colors a lot last week.
Yes, he noticed it. So definitely the work that you're doing is like being seen and valued, and like just he loves it, and I love it too. And it's really resonates with young people, I think, like you said, because you are young women yourselves, and the idea that as 3, like you said, cisgender, heterosexual, white women, right, who are our northern friends, right, in Canada. I'm pointing up, y'all. We're down here for you, but like being Canadian young women, I think it really speaks to what authentic allyship looks like. That truly, I can say that as a Black woman, I do feel like that's what authentic allyship looks like, because you try really hard to understand what the issues are. You read and try to learn, you ask questions when they're, and you're always offering support. And so I think that's a model. And part of why it was important to have you on is because one of the things that Twan has also said that I don't think I really thought about. We try to be both Dr. Alfie and Acoma Project and the podcast. We try to be a space where everybody feels like there's at least some corner of it that's for them. Yeah. Right. And that's really important, because a lot of people don't feel seen and heard and valued. Right. And if you're not one of the people who has, who's a beautiful person, who everybody is praising for being so bright and strong and smart, and, if you do feel like the thumb on the hand where you're sort of always out in the margins, it's important for those of us, because we all have some kind of privilege. It's important for those of us who have privilege to acknowledge our privilege, and then to say, even with my privilege, I see you. Even with my privilege, I want you to know that you matter. Even with my privilege, I want you to know that whatever I can do, even if it's just close my mouth and listen, right? Sometimes I have to do that. I have to just be quiet. Right? Then I want to do that.
You can look us as sisters, so you've got to do it. Yeah. I agree.
Shut your mouth and listen.
Exactly. So I think, like, as we think about winding down a little bit, I'm curious, just the sort of free for all part. Are there screenplays, activities, projects that you all are working on that you're comfortable talking a little bit about, that you're super duper excited about? Because I would want people to be able to be on the lookout for them, or maybe if they're already there, we want to send people to see them. Any of those kinds of things you have going on that you can share with us?
Yeah, I do. So
we're getting the scoop, y'all. We're getting the scoop. Yeah, tell us.
My mom and I are putting together a mother-daughter course to help mothers and daughters navigate, the teenage years and mental health, just to help other mothers and daughters with their relationship, because we've gone through such a learning curve, especially from my mom. She's never had any mental health issues, and so we want to help other mothers and daughters.
Yeah, and again, grew up in your generation.
Yeah,
no one.
Yep. We're gonna talk about it. That's right. That's right.
We're just putting that together now. Hopefully, it'll be done. We're aiming for early 2020, early this year.
Yay!
Keep an eye out for that.
Yes.
I'm also working on a screenplay, writing it right now, about my personal mental health journey and my journey with cystic fibrosis, and that's been very fun to write. So I don't think that's going to be anywhere in the near future, but it is going to be at some point coming out. And
of course, our screenplay that we talked about in the beginning. We're moving that one along, the three of us.
So that one's the three of us. It's based off of our book.
Okay.
But that one
still have ways to go though. So.
Okay.
So it is written and it is being sent out to people.
Yeah, we're
Yay!
The process,
it's getting right.
It's going.
Yeah.
It's going.
Yes.
Eyes, fingers, toes, everything.
Yes. So
we're still at the very beginning of our journey, but we're very excited.
And
we don't plan on stopping.
Good.
Elle and I are also writing a comedy show together that we're trying to develop.
Yeah.
We're just trying to write as much as we can. So
Good.
And also, we're very open to stories. So if anyone's watching this and like, I have a really cool story, but I don't know how to write it, please just contact us.
Oh.
We love writing. We have like lined up so many stories from friends and family. We know someone who is she's a female and she's an undercover cop.
Yeah.
And so she's been writing like notes and journaling for us to write.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Things like that. Yeah, we love like telling stories of people, I think like we're under the belief that everyone has such a good story. Like everybody has a story. And I feel like in the future I'm probably gonna be one of those people who's like knocking down my friend's doors being like, it's okay if I write a screenplay about you. Yeah. Cool. So is that okay?
Along those lines, if anybody has a mental health story or anything they want to share or anything they want to see on our page, please DM us at My Team Social.
myteam.social.
Thank you.
On Instagram.
On Instagram, please DM us. We are open to all of that.
And feedback too.
Yeah.
Feedback.
Oh, thank you for that. So are there socials? I'm sorry, YouTube channel. Can you tell people where to watch you on YouTube?
So my YouTube is just Madison MacGregor, MADISON, and then my last name, MACGREGOR. Just come up. And you guys are...
No, 19.
Oh my God, my team. Yeah. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I went into like total self-promotion there. So my team, Mind Time with Madison. So that's where you can find it. Mind Time with Madison on YouTube. Awesome. And then we're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts under Mind Time with Madison. And we're also featured on the IGTV of myteam.social.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elle, Madison, and Ava. You all are just beautiful young ladies. I can't say it enough. I really deeply appreciate your time. And everybody go check out all their socials, myteam.social on Instagram, because I know so many, like everybody your age is on Instagram. I still haven't figured out Snapchat. Do y'all do Snapchat?
Yeah.
My daughter, she's like, Mom, I'm like, isn't Snapchat dead? She's like, Mom, no. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm old. How about TikTok? Are y'all on TikTok?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
I don't feel bad because I'm old too. I don't.
She's not on TikTok.
I'm not good at TikTok.
Yeah. Me neither. It's too much work.
Yeah,
I think I can't come up with stuff all the time. Like I see people with like these 1 million followers and they're posting 2 and 3 times a day. I'm like, when are you making all these daggone videos? Like,
I agree.
I can't.
I agree.
I just watch stuff on there.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, I feel better. I feel so much better. Well, thank you, ladies, so much. And would you do me one more favor? Because I have twin cousins, and people always hated when their names are Nikisa and Nikari. And when they were little, people would just say the twins. And like, we have our own identities. And so it's really important to me that people put the face with the right name. So if each one of you would just, in closing, like maybe you could say goodbye, and say your name. That would be really great because I want people to be able to really know each of you as distinct human beings.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. Yes. Even I'll get that all the time.
Yes. The twins, right? It's just like, no, I have a name. My name's Elle. My name's Ava. We have names. It's not that our names are not the twins. That's not what our birth certificate says.
Yeah, exactly. Let's start. Bye, everyone. I'm Elle.
Goodbye, I'm Madison.
And goodbye, I'm Ava.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm just so deeply appreciative. So there you have it. That's a wrap for another episode of Couched in Color. We want you to know that we deeply value you, all of our viewers and our listeners, and everyone out there working to support optimal mental health, both for themselves and for our young people. And one of the best ways you can help our movement is by leaving us a 5-star review on our YouTube channel and everywhere you enjoy your audio podcasts, and by sharing our podcast with a friend. Please also tag us while you're out there listening and watching. Finally, head on over to dralfie.com for more information about me, www.acomaproject.org for information about my nonprofit. And those are the places you can go to learn more about how you can help. So I'll see you next week. And until then, I'm going to say what I always say, which is that I'm wishing you lots of love, lots of light, and that I'm hoping it is always, always informed by good, culturally relevant science. Take care.